Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel Awaken Life 888. It is so good as always to be back before you and to all of my subscribers. I love y'all. Thank you all so much. And to my newbies, thank you for joining us here on the Awaken Life journey. You know, recently I've been going through my comments and I've been getting a lot of comments and questions about my experience of being shamed at church. Now, I want to address some of that video that I did. You can go back through. I believe the name of that video is That Time I Was Shamed at Church or something like that. I want to just reiterate a little bit about that story. And I hope not to trigger anybody because it's kind of deep. So I just want to warn you guys. And before I proceed, I want to be respectful because some of these stories, when we are revisiting our past and we're trying to not shame, but to bring a lesson, you know, people can become triggered. And especially when it comes down to conversations about church. Okay. So anyway, what happened to me, I was pregnant and I wasn't married yet. And I was probably about 19. Yeah, 19 years old. And I was called up at that time. My family was members of a church. We went to this church from the time I was an infant. I was what you call christened in this church. So I spent all my years, 19 years of my life, pretty much every Sunday, every funeral, every choir rehearsal, everything. My life was entrenched and my family's life was entrenched in this church. So I'm there, I'm directing the choir, I'm in the choir, and my family, they are very active in this church. And some of these people, I've known them all of my life, and they're very important to me. And this church was very important. Obviously, you grow up in something, you know it's important to you. So one particular Sunday, I mean, my life at this point, guys, I'm 19 years old. My life was upside down. I am pregnant. I am a rape survivor. I have been kidnapped. I have been molested by two family members. Like my life at this point, guys, is a wreck. And on that particular Sunday, I am called up in front of the entire congregation. And I am given a speech about being pregnant and how this behavior will not be tolerated. And to be honest with you, the embarrassment of it all, when you shooketh like that, first of all, my hearing was numb. You know, I can remember them asking me to take off my choir robe and to go to the back of the choir. I was no longer allowed to sing in the front, in front of the congregation. Now, this is the lesson. Sorry that happened to me. And I'm sure there are other women out there that have even worse stories than mine. And I'm sorry that that happened to us. I'm sorry that we were stripped and shamed in that setting. In that setting, you know, horrible. But anyway, I'm stripped. And here's the lesson. This is what the church didn't know. They did not know that they were shaming me in front of the person that was abusing me. They were shaming me in front of the people that abused me, that hated me. And, at this particular church, there was a image in the back of the choir stand of Jesus on the cross. And he was with the blood coming out his side and with the nails in his hands, and this image of him in this total despair. And, I had been seeing that image all of my life, but when that happened and I saw that image, I immediately connected to the suffrage. That's just how low I felt, at that particular time. But I'd also made a resolution that, there was something very, very wrong with this church. And that, these all were educated people. These were educators, some of them. And, they were supposedly polished people, but they were also ignorant to what I was experiencing. And the lesson is, for the churches, when these families rush in with children that they saying are having just all these difficulties, and they're pregnant, and, they're acting out, take a second look at these families. And especially the ones that look real polished, that appear to be real holy, the ones that appear to have it just all together. Try to go beyond the veil. Try to go beyond. Look at the child. Talk to that child. And I recall no one ever talked to me. They only made fun of me. I would have a lot of those church members ask me silly shit. I'm going to just say it, silly shit. Ask me wicked things like, was it good? You're pregnant. Was it good? Of course it was good. I'm pregnant. My baby was made in love, honey. But of course I didn't have the mind to say any of that back then. But yeah, it was good. Back then I would just hold my head down and be shameful and live and relish in all of that shame. Because when your family is against you and they go on to speak such negativity about you, other people around you, they see you like a piece of steak, and they're ready to pounce and eat off of you too. Because a lot of times these people are low. They're full of their own shame and their own guilt. So yeah, back then going to church was wrong. And looking back, I'm glad that I disconnected. And I found that the God that I serve would never want to shame me. The God that I serve is not a vengeful, hateful, ruthless God. And I understand also that a lot of people serve that type of God, that vengeful, will bring down all of that hurt on a person to break them, even though they're broken already. And so many different places, people don't mind. They don't. People are monsters. And they're hoping that you never see that. A lot of churches have ruined a lot of people. And a lot of times, a lot of these people, they feel like they're the righteous. They're the righteous. They go around and they hurt people and damage, never ever to look back, to repent. And a lot of times, a lot of their lives, they're still on that righteous path, still suffering. their very selves unhealed, still living in the cycles of trauma and traumatizing others, the suffrage of it all. But I would go on to have that baby and to have 2 more babies and to carry that shame and guilt for decades until I became conscious of the different things that I experienced in my life that formed and shaped my belief systems that I currently have and am currently reprogramming and learning from, and, trying my best not to take all of that stuff and continue to sabotage my new life, to be very conscious of these harmful, damaging things. Because if you don't be conscious of it, then you end up, and I'm sure in my life I've dished that out. Because that was what was seeming normal to me. But that's wrong. It's wrong to make people pay for your shame and your guilt because you feel so low. You got to know that you're more than a conqueror. You are worth living. You are worth the goodness. A lot of people may say, yeah, we didn't think you were going to make it, but God knew you was going to make it. God knew it. God saw your strength. And deep down inside, if you got to be really truthful about it, you knew you was going to make it. You knew it. I knew I was going to make it. And I know I'm going to make it through this. I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to continue to be loving on myself, be gentler on myself, be kinder to myself. My nickname is Trey. And I used to get really frustrated about my nickname because, I've just been so, just such a pleaser and all this other stuff. But, I don't get so tripped out over that no more, because God, He gave me a gift to be giving, to be love, to the right energies, to the right sources, though. To be conscious of that gift that I carry, that tray, that table that He set for me. To not be ashamed of it. Don't run from that. That's your God-given right. That's your God gift. Honor it. Carry it to the right people so that it can be nourishment and strength to the right people. That's all. That's all. That's all. You're a nurturer. I'm a nurturer. I can't kill that. I've tried. Make me feel miserable. For what? And it makes you old and bitter and you don't want to move around. You're just stuck in this bitter Betty way. Excuse me. My tongue got crazy. But y'all know what I'm saying. But anyway, I am all the way off course. 14 minutes in, though. So maybe I'll break this up and make it 2 parts. All right, guys, I love each and every one of you for listening to me, taking the time out. That's what it's all about. All right, guys, I'll see you back in my next one. Bye.